Okay everyone, this is my 28-year-old Tennessee Walker, Sunny, and just last night I posted a video of me doing vertical flexion on her from the saddle, and there were a lot of questions. Does she do it from the ground? And just a lot of discussion about what else I do and how I do it. I do want to say that anybody can use a lot of different methods to train their horses. You can attest just by the number of YouTube videos that there are, hundreds and hundreds of trainers, and I think each person just has to go with what works for them, and so that's what I've done. Now, she does have fly spray on, but unfortunately we have these little things called love bugs in Florida, and they are all around today, but they don't bite like flies, horse flies, so I'm glad to see love bug season and maybe fly season calming down a little bit. You can see she's not invading my space. Even though I've got treats, she could be reaching out and trying to snatch this carrot right now. This is her favorite treat. She knows it's there, but this horse has an extreme respect for me, and it's not a fear at all. I don't see her throwing her head around or dancing to get away from me, because we have a bond, and she's not fearful of me. Sunny, will you ask me for this treat? Huh? Ask me for it and show me how polite. Show me what you do to get a treat. Huh? What are you going to do? That's a good girl. And I'm going to give you a treat before we get started. So I do praise this horse. I praise her a lot. And she's my forever horse, and I have a very touching story of how she even became mine. But as she gets older, she has no fear that she's going to end up somewhere she wants to be. I'm going to start today with showing how I teach the flexing from the ground. I don't really teach vertical flexion from the ground because lateral flexion leads to vertical flexion. And so I start with lateral flexion on the ground, and then I take it to the saddle, and it's there that when they've got the lateral flexion down that I begin working on vertical flexion. Now, the reason I went ahead and did some vertical flexion with Sunny is she has been taught vertical flexion by other people in her former life, in her show life, by using big, large Tennessee Walker leverage bits. So she has a complete headset. She knows what I'm asking when I ask her to yield to the bit, but she doesn't do it as readily because she doesn't feel the things on her head and in her mouth and under her chin that she used to feel. So riding in a snaffle bit is kind of foreign to her, but I can still get her to do it. The first thing I'm going to do in teaching lateral flexion, Sunny is pretty stiff. I don't work with her as much anymore because she is very old, and I've gone through a couple of health incidents with her, and right now for the rest of her life she is my grandkid horse, light trail riding and light riding around the property here, but I'm not going to take her on any overnight trail rides, and I'm just not going to take her into showing anymore and things like that, but gentle riding we can do. So she's retired, and she's pretty stiff. So she actually makes a good horse to show this with. I have her stand first, and there's certain body language, like I can move right toward her hip, and she's going to move her hip out of the way because she's been taught to stand and keep her eyes on me and to respect my space. But I'm going to go ahead and just use a little bit different body language than I use for yielding the hindquarters. And I'm just going to go ahead and place this rope right over her back. Now, I've already taught her that. There's a lot of things that you do in groundwork, and I'm just trying to show one thing at a time. This is for people who want to be able to get their horse to bend through the pole, okay, right through here, but they can't, and they find their horse sticking their nose out. Now, there's a lot of different headsets, and there's a lot of different disciplines. And so on some disciplines, you want to completely give the horse his head. but in other disciplines, you know, you want, especially when you're achieving collection, you want the horse to bend everywhere. You want the horse to bend here. You want the horse to take this tummy and bring it up, which she doesn't respond very well to that. I'd probably have to have a hoof pick. And you want them to bring their hind end under them. So teaching them to bend in all 5 body areas, the head, the neck, the shoulders, the barrel, and the hind quarters, is important. It's not, there's no just one exercise that is a be-all end-all for everything. So I'm going to go ahead, and with my hand over her, you can see that I've got about a foot of length. And you know what I didn't even do? I forgot to put her in a rope halter. So this is going to be totally in just a regular nylon halter. The rope halters have pressure points here, 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 and up here. And they work a little bit better for teaching flexion, but since I forgot, I'm not going to stop and start over. So I'm going to take Sunny's nose and I'm going to pull it around. Okay, and right now that's about as far as she wants to come. So I'm going to hold it here. Now, when I hold it here, I'm going to wait until she gives me, right there, some softness. And when I say when she gives me softness, what I mean is that she brings her nose with her own movement more toward me. Because my goal is to get her to bring her nose all the way around here. But the reward is going to be in her effort to respond to the soft touch. So I pull her around as far as she's really willing to come, and I wait. And there's pressure right over here. There's pressure on her nose. So for her to get away from that, she should begin to understand, look right there, that I'm asking her to pull her nose more toward me. But when this horse, instead of pulling away or leaning on the halter away from me, when they move like that, you go with them. Like right now, this is what brings me to the other side, but my hands are in the same place. Moving from it is not the same thing as giving to it. Now she gave to it. She moved her head toward me, and moving her head toward me only is giving to it. So when the horse moves, you move. When the horse moves, you move. I'm going to try to get her in that sideways position again because y'all wanted to see from the side angle. Okay, no force here, just pull. Get that head around and wait. Ooh, she's already, see, y'all may have not seen that, but she let the air out, and as she exhaled, her head slowly came more toward me. So I could feel it in my hands that it was a softening, even though it wasn't very visible with the eyes. I think this is either number 5 or number 6. Okay, I asked for a little more this time, and she's leaning a little longer. But it's like I said, you know, when I was a gymnast and my coaches wanted me to get better splits, we would get in position and they would come around and just push us down another few inches, and then they'd count to 8 and make us hold it there. Now I'm just going to wait until she moves her nose and muzzle a little bit more toward me on her own movement, not my force. Right now she's just laying against the nylon. There. Now look, you know that you taught them something when you let go of the line and they still leave their head there. So I'm going to go ahead, since I only did 4 yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and do about 8 today, so I'm going to do 3 more. I think that was 5. And this is how I will get more and more flexion over her, out of her every day. And I am asking for a little more. You know, and I saw the video that Gina posted, and it was good. I saw the man take his head and come around, and Gina said something about unlocking the jaw. I think that's good because the jaw is connected to the tongue and other muscles. But I want Sunny, what I didn't see in that video was I didn't see the horse just willingly bringing his own head around. So I wait here as long as it takes. Sunny's head is parallel, it's not up. If anything, it's slightly angled downward toward the ground. She's going to try to back out of it, and we're going to stay right here. You don't let them back out of it, you just go with them. You know, even if they turn 10 times around, you stay in position there. Now see, the horse does it. They know. Somehow I want to get away from this pressure. And they know that once they move away from the pressure, they figure out how to get away from the pressure, and that's when you release. So that was perfect because it took a long time. Okay, so I hope I'm not too close now because I'm going to go ahead and do some from this side. I think I ended up only doing 6 from the other side, so maybe that was so long I decided not to do 8. So that's what I'll do here. 1. I got about 1 foot of line. The line is over her back. She just pulled against me, so I'm gonna take and I'm gonna pull her back into place. Do like that other video. I thought that was a good idea that I saw. So right there, and pull her nose, and then I'm going to hold it. This is how we develop our own methods. See, we watch videos from various trainers and we keep what we like and toss what we don't. So I'm going to use the rope halter on Dolly. And the first thing I'm going to do, and I want to say that I have already desensitized my horses to these ropes. Some horses you can't take and throw a rope over their back like that without them spooking. And so I've got other videos on desensitizing that you can watch if your horse isn't desensitized enough to the rope for you to be able to toss it over his back. So I'm going to toss this over Dolly's back. And I'm going to pull her head around. Now look how she immediately gave to me, and she leaves it there. Okay? So there's no fighting with this horse because I've already taken her through the program. And now I'm just kind of keeping her flexible. See how she immediately brings her nose further back to me? So now she's harder to keep from eating grass than Sunny is. Sunny has a much more obedient. Good girl. Did you see that? You bring the nose around. And then she's going to make the decision to bring it further. Come on now. There we go. She did that all on her own from here to her side. She actually came around and touched her side. And now she's going to try to walk out of it. And I'm not going to let her any more than I let Sunny. And she's not trying to get away from pressure, she's trying to get back to eating grass. So you just go with them. And there, she gave me her nose. Now I'm going to line her back up. Whoa. No grass, not yet. Wow, her belly's Her belly's rumbling. Okay, now let's touch your side. Your own accord. Your own will here, baby. Good girl. Good girl. See, now that's what I'm looking for. Okay. She brings it all on her own. Okay, that was all on her own, just a light tug, and she was around. Okay, now, does that method work? Well, considering that whenever I first started working with her, she didn't do this, and this is the method that I've used, I think this is the living proof that it works. Right there. So that's Dolly with vertical